Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Within. And today, as you can see, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon where I'll be talking about the movies, obviously, the TV shows, documentaries, I don't know, whatever the case may be. If it's related to Disney in any shape or form, then yes, of course I'll be talking about it, so here we are, I suppose. So I just want to talk about something I've seen floating around. Yes, first of all, there's nothing inherently wrong with wanting to stay fit, and staying fit could be in various degrees. So there's not one specific way to stay fit. You can do this in various different ways. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm okay, just saying. I'm just trying to make a commentary over something I've seen floating around. And yes, of course, it's going to be in relations to Queen Elsa, more specifically from the animated shorts, movies, and whatnot. So it's just something I thought I'd talk about a good moment here because I've seen plenty of images people have made or custom made or what have you. It's like, okay. So, alright, I just thought I was just give my 2 cents here. And I know they want to make perfectly clear there's nothing inherently wrong with liking this body type. If this floats your boat, then more power to it. If you like it, you like it. There's nothing wrong with that. It does your sexual orientation doesn't really matter. It's just this could be for various people who enjoy this kind of specific look. So if that's you, then it's fine, it's whatever. But anyway, moreover, is like really buffed up Elsa. Like holy hell, like okay, yeah, not exactly the look you'd be expecting when it comes to this character and whatnot. And yes, of course, there are people who are actually into this kind of a look. And like I said, to each their own, I suppose. So yes, it's something I figured to talk about. I've seen this quite often enough that I thought I'll just make it a thing here, folks. And yes, obviously, it's fine to be in good shape, of course. There's nothing wrong with this, really. And me may not be my cup of tea, really, if I'm be honest with you, but like we're saying, to each their own. But yes, having the character like Elsa be all buffed up, what do you call it, buff cake, beefcake, however you say that. Another name I've heard is muscle mommy, is another thing I've heard that people call these kind of women. I mean, yes, of course, that's you if that's fine if you like it. So this is actually a thing. Like, okay, like she's going to the gym. Well, someone isn't missing leg day. That's for sure. Sure, whatever you want, I suppose. And this kind of a thing has been, of course, be considered as fan art. The most of this is just what I see is just fan art, really. When you come to think about it, and this is a term, of course, that's been described to some people when it comes to like what would be considered as the norm for what a woman or male should look like and whatnot. I mean, it's usually something I've seen with women that I came across, and I can kind of see why because of the fact that it's again not something typically that's associated with women for the obvious reasons. Of course, I mean times have changed. But this is not really a recent thing, by the way. To clear up the air, so to speak, this is not a recent thing, so to speak. This has been a thing for quite some time, quite clearly, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's definitely is a thing. I mean, you could be involved with someone like this because of the aesthetics, of course, or just be involved with some of this romantically speaking. This kind of look that somebody might be drawn to is how someone would be really want to present themselves to the world and whatnot, and how society would typically describe people, how and what people might consider masculine, and will this be considered going against what masculinity would be typically represented as? So I guess could be considered as a way to be a thing. I guess anyone of any gender identity or sexual orientation can identify as an attraction to this, of course. And yes, it's typically something I've seen among women who are assigned female at birth or women who identify as a woman. And this is something I've seen that's usually typically that's been attracted to men. That's not to say that women who were born female at birth or women who identify as women can't be attracted to this. They can. They absolutely can. And like, all right, this is definitely something I've seen before, and I just thought I'll just talk about this. I'm not using this as an excuse to talk about Frozen. Okay, maybe sure there might be some truth in that. And I guess I'm talking about some Disney stuff anyway. Come to think about it, it's just my way of doing that. Of course, gotta bring in Frozen some kind of way, right? I guess in this case, just Elsa and the way she looks. And yes, I guess since you don't expect this character to look in this kind of way, it could be a part of the attraction because maybe you don't expect it. Maybe there's some kind of like a source of taboo when it comes to how the culture is in some ways, quite obviously. And this could be a own kind of reference to an attraction to this kind of perceived masculinity, regardless of who this person is, I suppose. And yeah, this person can definitely be this type of character could be a kind of a thing, of course. And maybe for some people, there is a romantic attachment, there's this or emotional attachment and whatnot. Or maybe it doesn't go in that deep. There's just like the aesthetic to this kind of a thing. I mean, sure, if that's you, that's fine. I suppose there's nothing inherently wrong with that either. Obviously, if that's your cup of tea, sure. So people like this, maybe this kind of a thing, maybe want have someone that could dominate them. Of course, again, it's something that's not really we consider as typical. Having a man or someone that identifies as male could be dominated over someone like this. It's something that like it's not considered typical, but to each their own, right? To each their own. That's for sure. Of course, this go also going to the whole LGBT plus community. Of course, this is something I've seen around these circles as well. Sure, and I know I might get some negative backlash when it comes to this kind of topics, but like going against popular opinion wasn't something I've done before. All right, that's because it was. I've gone against popular opinion before, so it's not like I really care. Yeah, it's not a real popular opinion, but whatever. I suppose it is what it is. I reckon. But yeah, this is definitely is how some could have a top of discussion. Of course, each person will have their own different experiences. Of course, and people should have to do what they feel, what feels right for the best for them. Of course, where they are in their lives. Of course, it is up to each individual on how they want to inform other people when or even if they chose to tell anybody about this kind of attraction. Of course, it's up to you. Really, you don't have to tell anybody. And if you do want to inform someone, of course, it depends how you do it and whatnot. And it's not everybody's business, really, when you think about it. If an individual tends to tell others about this kind of a attraction, people may wish to plan ahead, which in itself doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing if you do have to do this kind of a thing. And it may be beneficial to take some time to think about what, where, when, and how they want to express this kind of thing to someone else, maybe a close friend, a relative who's open minded. If someone's unsure on how to tell others, and because they may not know how they will react upon being told, they may want to discuss the LGBT plus issues with someone first before engaging in the reaction, this kind of a thing. And a person may also ask a friend, a family member, or some other person they could trust enough to stay with them during said conversation. So this conversation can be a tricky one, of course. I mean, could this make a good movie? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, it doesn't have to be with Elsa, quite obviously. It doesn't necessarily have to be with Elsa, of course, quite obviously. And I don't know. Maybe it's done. If it's done right, I suppose it could make it into a movie. It's done properly, sure. But I don't know. Whatever. It's just me, I guess. I just want to talk about something in regards to this kind of a thing. And again, it's something I've seen before quite some time. I just thought I'd just discuss this for that very reason. Obviously, I just thought it'd be a good topic of discussion in this regard. And I mean, of course, you do have to plan some things when it comes to this kind of a thing, because what do you do if the conversation goes astray when you think about it? If someone, if someone like this does, if you're like attracted to this kind of a individual, this kind of a woman, if you tell others about this kind of attraction and those are negative, very like an extremely negative response, it may feel difficult to deal with. Of course, like no kidding. It is important to remember that it is not the fault of the person sharing the this kind of a attraction if the other individual has a negative response. It's not your fault if somebody reacts in a negative reaction kind of a thing. It's just that people out there, unfortunately, don't really have that much of an open minded, really. At the end of the day, that's just how it is. That's how people are. I mean, yes, of course, some individuals could contact with the some community online. Like again, the whole LGBT plus group online. If assuming you already are a part of it, or if you're currently looking for it, through social media or local support groups, you could find this kind of thing, which may make people feel less alone and more supported. Which of course can be a thing. This can be a very distressful kind of a thing. Obviously, there are groups out there on hotlines in which you can actually speak to if you need someone to talk to. And I'm just throwing it out there. Again, I'm just throwing it out there because this kind of a thing with a really buff Elsa, Queen Elsa, I should say, has been floating around. And yes, I'm thinking that there was an attraction to this, a character looking this way, of her of all people, and whatnot. And yes, there are people who would behave negativity to this kind of look. If this really is something that you like, and that's fine if it does. There's no judgment here. But that's besides the point, really, because I just want to discuss this. Like, this is something that people had attraction to, really, when you think about it. But there you go, I reckon. So, I guess let me just wrap this up, I guess. So, anyway, like I was saying, just to wrap it up, is that, yeah, so trying to really give Elsa this big old must or whatnot, like, okay. I mean, personally speaking, like we were saying earlier, I don't see the appeal. But that's just me, though. That's just me. So okay, whatever. Suppose. I mean, like I said, to each their own. If that's what you like, then that's what you like. I mean, it could be romantic, of course. It could only, at the very least, could lead up to romantic, of course. And I know one of the most common things I keep hearing about this kind of a thing is that can straight people like this? Of course they can. You know, I don't see why not. And I know some people just wonder, could this potentially make someone gay? I mean, you can't turn gay, right? No, that's not how that works. Either you are or you're not. Just throwing it out there. But that shouldn't matter anyway. As long as you're happy with this other individual, that's fine, of course. And it's just something I've noticed when it comes to this kind of a thing. So I just want to explain this attraction, at least to some extent. I mean, there's a lot more I could get into. Of course, there's like a whole community for this kind of stuff. It's usually around, at least from what I experienced, from what I came across, it's usually around women being really fit, like really fit and whatnot. And that's okay. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. I mean, look at Laura Croft. Laura Croft is definitely one of the most popular video game characters ever, and she's extremely fit. So there was that. Also, of course, Chung Li, Cammy White, just name a couple more, of course, and they're really fit to various degrees, but still count. They're still really fit and whatnot, and that's that's they have a fan base, of course, and there are women who are trying to look like them as well, and that's fine as well. And I don't know, it's just to each whatever the case, I guess. And yes, of course, other women kind of like this, kind of appreciate this look as well. So I guess that'll be it, folks. It's just something like I was saying, I want to do for a good minute here because it's something I've seen quite often when it comes to this character, obviously. So there's that, of course. But anyway, that'll be it. So I do appreciate anybody for having a watch with this. So there you go. I reckon, obviously. So there you go. Oh yeah. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching and take care. Until next time, see ya. And also, there's this character. Yeah, a lot of people actually like this character, so that's something. See ya.